My golden child adopted sister demanded I move out so she could heal. I gave her a home in jail instead. When I got into the school play, Emma suddenly developed a passion for theater and needed private acting lessons. When I made the honor roll, Emma claimed I was pressuring her academically and needed a tutor to catch up from her trauma. When I got into medical school and needed to live at home to save money, Emma said I was robbing her of her safe space. My parents bent over backwards for Emma. They paid for her to study abroad in Paris. She dropped out after 2 months. They bought her a car when she said public transport triggered her abandonment issues. They funded her photography business, her jewelry making phase, her life coaching certification, and her yoga instructor training. None of it stuck. Meanwhile, I was working 3 jobs to pay for my MCAT prep, studying until 3 a.m., and still helping mom with dinner every night. But according to Emma, I was the problem. Everything exploded 6 months ago. I was in my final year of medical school, doing rotations at the hospital 80 hours a week, barely sleeping, surviving on coffee and whatever mom left for me in the fridge. Emma had just been evicted from her apartment for not paying rent. She showed up at family dinner with a therapist. An actual therapist she'd convinced to come to our house for an intervention. Dr. Morrison is here to facilitate a healing conversation, Emma announced, about how Rebecca's presence in this house is preventing me from processing my adoption trauma. My parents were stunned. The therapist, who looked deeply uncomfortable, pulled out notes that were clearly all from Emma's perspective. Emma feels that Rebecca's continued presence in the family home at age 28 is creating an imbalanced dynamic that triggers her abandonment wounds, the therapist read. She needs a safe space to rebuild her relationship with her adoptive parents without the biological child's overshadowing presence. I'm here because medical school is expensive, I said slowly. I pay rent. I buy groceries. I'm barely here except to sleep. That's exactly the problem, Emma cried. You're the perfect daughter even when you're absent. How am I supposed to compete with that? Nobody's asking you to compete, Mom said gently. You don't understand, Emma screamed. She's your real daughter. I'll always be the charity case you took in. The therapist suggested that maybe I could temporarily relocate to give Emma space to heal. My parents, desperate to help Emma, actually asked if I'd consider staying with friends for a while. I was gutted, but I agreed to look for alternative housing. That's when things got interesting. 2 weeks after the intervention, Mom noticed $500 missing from the emergency cash in their bedroom safe. Then Dad couldn't find his Rolex, the one his father had left him. Then Mom's pearl necklace vanished. They thought they were going crazy, misplacing things. Without telling anyone, Dad installed a tiny camera in their bedroom, focused on the safe. Monday morning, Dad checked the camera footage. There was Emma during dinner, slipping upstairs while everyone was distracted. She went straight to their bedroom, used a key she'd apparently copied, opened the safe, and took $300 cash plus Mom's antique emerald ring. She even took 2 bottles of Dad's oxycodone from his back surgery. My parents were destroyed, but instead of confronting her immediately, they decided to investigate further. Dad hired a private investigator. What they found was staggering. Emma had told everyone in her adoption trauma support group that our parents were abusive, that they treated her like a servant while lavishing money on their real daughter. She started a GoFundMe called Help Emma Escape Her Adoptive Abusers that had raised $8,000. She was selling Mom's jewelry on Facebook Marketplace. She was also selling Dad's pain medication to her yoga friends. The confrontation happened at what Emma thought was going to be another intervention. She'd brought Dr. Morrison again, plus a social worker she'd convinced that our parents were being abused by me. She'd even called Adult Protective Services. Emma walked in with a whole speech prepared about how she'd found the courage to report me, how she was saving our parents from their codependent relationship with their biological daughter. That's when Dad connected his laptop to the TV and started playing the footage. The room went silent as we watched Emma stealing from the safe, then the Facebook Marketplace listings, then screenshots of her GoFundMe. The social worker immediately started taking different notes. Emma went white, then red, and started sobbing. This is entrapment, she screamed. You set me up because you love Rebecca more. You've always loved her more. Emma turned to the social worker. They're abusing me. This is abuse. I'm adopted and they're framing me. The social worker closed her notebook. Ma'am, I've just watched you commit theft, fraud, and drug distribution on video. The only call I'm making is to the police. Emma literally ran out of the house. But the police were already on their way. Dad had called them before the meeting. She was arrested at her friend's apartment, trying to flush the rest of Dad's pills. They charged her with theft, fraud, possession with intent to distribute, and filing false reports.